I like sex more than anything. I like it more than working. I like it more than eating. I like it more than sleeping. I like it more than working out, getting a pump. I like it more than spending time with my kids. I like it more than praying, reading the Bible. I like sex more than I like eating cheesecake. I like it more than I like smoking weed. I like sex more than I like making these videos for you. I like sex more than I like to express myself with words. I like sex more than I like listening to music. I like sex more than psychedelics. I like sex, it's safe to say, more than anything. And I think that there's been so much shame put around this that we are, particularly as men, most of you guys are men, we are supposed to have things more important to us in this life than sex. But what if there was nothing more important? What if sex actually is what allows us to care about all these other things? What if everything is just been purposely spun back to front to confuse you and to tie you up in knots and to make you feel ashamed of yourself? See, I've just come to this place now where I accept it. It's the best thing. It's literally the most beautiful thing. Nothing comes close for me, if I'm being totally honest. Nothing comes even close to how good sex feels with my wife, who I love. I'm not talking about just random hookups. Not talking about your one night stands, your little flings with the lady down the road. I'm not talking about this lust-fueled obsession with conquest. I'm not talking about those shallow interactions. I'm talking about real intimacy when your heart is connected to the person that you are penetrating, to the woman you are penetrating. That blows everything else out of the water for me. Absolutely everything. You know, but you have to be a better man to maintain that and to develop that, because it gets better and better over time. You have to be a strong man to be able to sustain that. Number one, you have to be retaining your seed in order for the chemical, electronic, energetic connection to build up strong enough for that sex to be absolutely insane, absolutely creme de la creme. There has to be a strong enough magnetic charge between the two of you, and you can only get that if you practice retention. There's no other way. There's no other way to sustain and continually deepen with one woman a connection so that it literally feels like coming without coming, except by retaining. If you haven't retained, you don't even know what I'm talking about. You haven't even come close to what I'm talking about. The best thing you've experienced is just peak experiences of lust, which appeals to your lower animal nature but never touches your heart and never touches your higher centers, never captures your imagination, and never connects you to God. That's what I'm talking about. I have never felt so connected to God than when I am balls deep inside my woman, eyes locked, looking deep into her soul, just feeling so much love, feeling my heart just so enraptured by her beauty. Just looking into her face and literally seeing like a fucking surrealist painting, just melding, colors moving, like shimmering, like pastels, like I'm tripping on acid. That kind of level of gateway experience to God. Nothing has come close. I've played around with a lot of different drugs. My favorite would be ketamine of all time, because that just wipes away the barrier. That wipes away the ego smokescreen, and you're just there. You're just there with God, with it. You are just it, one with it. That's what I've experienced with ketamine, or something like Changa, DMT in its form, where it actually allows you to go for 15 up to 20 minutes, because it inhibits one of the chemicals that metabolizes the DMT very, very quickly in your body. There's an inhibitor. I think it's a MAO inhibitor. But you can smoke this stuff and it's like going on an ayahuasca journey, but just a shortened version, like 15 to 20 minutes. Even that, as profound as that experience is, smoke it a bit of Chang. I've never done ayahuasca, never sat with the mother. But when you are having chaste sex, when I say chaste, I mean sex without release, sex without making her come or yourself. No orgasm, no short circuiting. When you are there mainlining this woman who you are absolutely enamored by, who you are absolutely in love with, and your hearts are just wide open, and there's just fucking pure, raw, chemical, spiritual energy just poof, 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 just cycling back and forward, back and forward. There's nothing like it. That is what it feels like to touch the face of God. And it just gets deeper. This is the thing. Every time we have sex, it's better. Even if, there's a lot of shit going on. I've got 2 kids now. I've been waking up all hours of the night. We're doing shifts because she's been exhausted lately. He's going through a stage, our 5-month-old. He must be teething or something. He's waking up sometimes 4 times a night. So we're doing shifts. I sleep in the other room. She comes and gets me about halfway through the night. Come and attend to Bubby. So I go into that room. So we've both been exhausted. Energy's just up and down. But even so, every time I reconnect with her sexually, it's deeper. It's better. It's juicier. There's more. There's just more and more and more. It doesn't get boring. It doesn't get old. Now, mind you, we've only been married for coming on 6 months. There's what's called the honeymoon phase. But what the honeymoon phase actually is, let me break this down for you. This is truth. This is truth, okay? This is based on observation of myself and of others. What the honeymoon phase is in a typical marriage situation. This is why men are starting to avoid marriage and women like the plague, right? Because they don't understand this. Once you get this, you are going to have a blissful life. You are going to have an incredible life. This is the secret. The honeymoon phase is the phase where you still have sexual energy available because you haven't squandered it through orgasm. I'm talking men and women. Men and women, husband and wife. They go through the honeymoon stage together when they are both highly polarized to each other, because they haven't spent their sexual energy on each other yet. But as they come together and as they get deeply, deeply drawn into each other, and they just start fucking like rabbits, making each other come. Now he's shot his load. Now she's come like 6 times in one session, and she loves him. He's given her multiple orgasms. She's like off in bliss. She's just overwhelmed with sensation. Her nervous system is just getting absolutely fucking fried. She is draining down her bank account of vital energy, and he is just coming all over her, to the left, to the right, inside. It's okay, we'll take a pill. You take some contraception. I'll wear some condoms. And he's just jizzing load after load and just having the time of his life. And it's great. It's incredible. For a couple of days. And then they are so sexually exhausted that they have to go through this period where they just sort of hate each other low-key for a while. I mean, deep down they still love each other, but for a week or so, there's just a lot of tension. There's a lot of stuff coming up, There's a lot of triggering going on. But then, here comes a bit more of my sexual reserves bubbling up to the surface. Bang, it's on again. They're fucking like rabbits at each other like animals. Just going for it. Just going for it. Boom, she comes. Boom, he comes. Boom, multiple orgasms. She's going crazy. She's losing it. She's howling. The neighbors are starting to get worried. The neighbors think there's a murder going on next door, but she's just having the time of her life. It's all fireworks. But then, damn. All of a sudden, they both feel very tired and exhausted because they've just sexually depleted each other again. And this time, their baseline is a little bit lower because they're just drawing down reserves, drawing down reserves. But hey, honey, we've been going at this for a while now. Let's mix it up. Why don't we watch some porn together? Why don't we get a bit kinky? Why don't we get a bit naughty, a bit crazy? Why don't we do some of the stuff we see on the porn? Hey, I'll get a whip and I'll just whip the shit out of you, baby. I can put like a nice little choke collar around your neck and just whip the shit out of you. I can spit on you. I can just start smacking you, give you some bruises, just get really down with it. And there's a bit of novelty. There's a little bit more of the buried, suppressed animalistic desire, a bit of that suppressed sexual energy that maybe has never been allowed up to the surface. But hey, at the end, I'm going to come on your face. I'm going to come all over your eyes. And then guess what? That little reserve of sexual energy, which was sitting down there, suppressed for so long, has now been released. And now you've got to get even nastier in order to feel something for your partner. In order to just even get an erection, you have to get even nastier. Now you've got to start drawing a little bit of blood. Or maybe you need to start bringing in a third person. Or maybe you need to go further into the slave-master relationship and start getting her to do weird shit like, I don't know, keep a butt plug in all day, or just something to create a bit of novelty and a bit of a sense of debauchery, because that'll bring that excitement back that we've lost, that we don't have for each other, just relating on a normal basic level of love. That shit's boring now. That's vanilla. Fuck that shit. We need to spice it up, baby. Let's bring in a Latina escort and see what she can do for us. And so on it goes, and then she buys a fucking vibrator the size of your forearm, and he starts getting into like a bit of quasi-gay shit, like exploring getting pegged in his ass, and he has to start dialing it up even more and more, and she has to do the same thing. And pretty soon they're both fantasizing about completely different things while they're having sex. And then eventually they just get fucking bored of each other and they just tolerate each other because they got kids. Or they just start having affairs. And that's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the 12-month marriage. Thanks for the 2-year marriage. It was great, but I'm just not in love with you anymore. I mean, I love you, but I'm just not in love with you anymore. I just feel nothing. When I look at you, I just feel absolutely nothing, except maybe a little bit of disgust and maybe a bit of resentment that I wasted the last 12, 24 months on you. I don't even know how I could have ever been attracted to you in the first place. Like, we're just different people. We just have different interests. Isn't that the typical story? Isn't this why we avoid marriage as men? Isn't this why we instead try to become as devious and good at manipulating women as possible as men? Because we never want to be tied down to that shit and then lose half our assets, which we worked our ass off for some ungrateful wench who admits that she never even liked us in the first place. That's the state of society. That's literally the state of society. And then we fling to the other side of the spectrum and we go all monastic and monkhood. And we're like, I ain't touching my dick. I ain't looking at porn. I ain't looking at women. Fuck women. Don't even want to talk to them anymore. I'm just going to focus on my purpose. I'm going to focus on my divine mission, why I'm here. I'm going to build my empire, get jacked, and fuck as many women as I want, or become an absolute monk and just focus on God, the male God, Father God. Fuck all women. Women are of the devil. Eve was the one who plunged us all into sin in the first place. Women are evil. And it's just this blanket. You just put this blanket over it and you miss the key, bro. The key. The key is the middle path. The middle path, you take this extreme, you take this extreme, you clap your hands together, you got the middle path. Sex without orgasm, ever. The path. This is the path. And it gets better and better and better. There is no limit to where you can go on the middle path, because your energy will keep building. Her energy will keep building. You are feeding each other's energy body. You are feeding each other's soul body. In the Gnostic tradition, they say that the soul doesn't exist by default. You have to build it. That's why we're here on Earth. We're here on Earth in the human form, drop down to the third dimension, so that we can rebuild ourselves, our spiritual vehicles, so that we can travel into these upper realms. Otherwise, we're trapped. We are trapped on this rock, thinking that it's all physical, thinking that there's nothing but physicality. If you think like that, then fucking, why wouldn't you just become a man whore? Why wouldn't you just fuck as many bitches as you can, stick your dick in as many holes as you can before you die? If this is all there is, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be getting as much money and as many bitches as I could before I die, because this is all there is. But it's not. You know this is not all there is. I know this isn't all there is because I've experienced it firsthand. I've experienced a deeper dimension. In this dimension, it's all overlapped, it's all overlaid. In our physical eyes, all we see is this, all we feel is this. But as you develop the intuition, as you become more sensitized by cutting yourself off from all this BS, you start to feel and see the deeper dimension. You start to have these direct experiences of what could be called God, the Supreme, the Divine, the Mother, the Holy Spirit. You start to experience it. I've experienced too much. I know that there is something, but maybe it's not even worth naming it, because as the Taoists say, the Tao Te Ching, the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. So you're better off not trying to conceptualize and think about it, but you're better off experiencing it. And sexual alchemy is the direct path to experience it. That's been my experience so far. Gnosis, to know, knowing, direct knowing. It's not based on an idea that someone taught you. You didn't get it from watching a video, you experienced it. So what I'm saying is, find a partner, find a wife. If you're a woman, find a husband. Set the clear intention. We've been so conditioned to be in this dating culture where it's just on to the next, to the next, to the next. Hungry ghosts just floating around the earth like those little Pac-Man ghosts, just hungry, searching. Boom, consume you. I consumed you, you're done, you're coming out of me now, you are my excrement, goodbye. That's how we treat dating. Because we're always operating from this deficiency based on the reckless use of our own sexual energy. It's our battery life. You don't realize your sexual energy is your battery life. Every time you come, you're just consuming more of your battery life. And you can't just recharge it just by plugging yourself into a wall like your phone. Once you consume that energy, unless you are really regenerating yourself through practices of yoga, meditation, eating clean, getting in the sun, grounding, soaking up the prana. The sun is the seed. The sun, S-O-N, is also the S-U-N, the Son of God. It's the physical representation of the Logos in our universe, the Son of God. It provides the prana, the seed. When the sun hits your skin, it is being stored. Everything that is living relies on the sun, except for those organisms that have found ways to generate their own light, bioluminescence. Everything else must absorb the light from the sun. That is the seed that accumulates in your body and becomes the semen. So don't waste your sexual energy, men and women. Find your partner, come together with them, start practicing sex without orgasm, and you are charging up your body. You are charging up your spiritual vessel, which you can then use to travel into different dimensions, into higher realms, to experience God directly. If you want more of this, join the Zion community. We've created this community for people practicing sexual alchemy, for people who are on the path of knowledge, gnosis. This is the deepest secret. I swear to God, I have spent years, over a decade, searching for the truth. I've tried every path that's been presented to me. The closest thing I came to this was letting go, which allowed me to just start fucking allowing things, allowing myself to feel. But I believe that was the foundation that prepared me to hold the space for this energy which is now coming through sexual alchemy. It allowed me to become a big enough container that I can actually bring this immense power through me that's starting to come through me now that I'm practicing sexual alchemy. So believe me when I say this shit is powerful. Jump in the community. We're talking about this. We're diving deep. You can have one-on-one access to me. I'll share everything I know with you. This is some powerful, powerful shit. Much love, fam. I'll see you soon.